Everyday Life with Guardsmares, Chapter 11.
Holy puck, how is the chow hall so damn busy on a Saturday for lunch?
Seriously, it was like the palace barracks had doubled in population overnight. Why were all these ponies even there? Most of them should have Saturday off. It was a good thing that Lily had a Pegasus recon battle buddy who could zoom up to the ceiling, spot the only free table left in the room, and then dive bomb down to one of his chairs to reserve it for them. And it's a good thing for Sparkshower that she had a unicorn battle buddy who could easily grab both of their plates while she was holding the seats. Flight plus telekinesis combo team for the win. At that point, Lily's immediate problem was how to route through the crowds over to the far side of the room, where Sparks was eagerly awaiting her omelet. Scanning the room, she decided to try picking her way around the crowded outside edge, even though it skirted the busy buffet line. At least there was a bit of room to maneuver there. But before she could set off, she heard a soft male voice from behind her.
Attention on deck, specialist.
He was so close that she could almost feel his breath against her ear, and the shock almost made her drop the field that was holding the two lunch trays up in the air. Or maybe it wasn't the shock from the proximity, but from recognizing the speaker. And he was an officer, so she snapped to attention, staring straight ahead. She heard a chuckling in her ear. A white Pegasus with a brilliant blue mane stepped around in front of her, with a grin on his face.
Well, hey, Lil. Long time no see.
Lieutenant Valiant Killfeather, 11FX Air Superiority. Her ex. Lily didn't say a word. Val cocked his head at her.
Oh, come on, Lil. No love for old Val.
She answered immediately, towing the line of proper conduct towards an officer.
No, sir.
No?
Oh, shame. We used to have something together, Lil. Whatever happened?
Keeping her magical concentration to balance the lunch trays was easy. It was keeping her composure in front of that bucking asshole that was hard.
You ruined it, sir.
The Pegasus officer was unfazed by Lily's pronouncement. Friendly on the surface, but Lily knew it for the sneering smirk of self-assured superiority it really was.
So quick to lay the blame, Lil, but I don't remember being the one who walked out on a good thing.
So he wanted to hear her spit it out?
Fine then. No, you're just the one who tried to force me into something I didn't want to do.
Lieutenant Killfeather feigned ignorance.
Oh, what? You mean that thing with the Colts from the squadron? Oh, come on, Lil. It's not like you wouldn't have enjoyed it.
His expression darkened as he leaned in, right in front of her face.
Besides, the way I hear it these days, you'll spread them and wink for any pony with two bits to rub together. You bucking bastard.
It took everything she had to suppress the urge to jam a telekinetic spear straight up his nose right then and there. But instead, she just narrowed her eyes and clenched her teeth. Val just stared at Lily, watching her simmer. When he had had enough, he leaned back and laughed.
Oh, at ease, soldier. Oh, fool, I could still rile you up, huh? Maybe there's still something there after all.
Lily relaxed her posture and permitted herself to actually look him in the eye instead of staring straight ahead.
But I'm not here to pine after bygones, babe.
Almost through clenched teeth, she barely managed to not snarl at him.
Why are you here, sir?
He arched his eyebrows and wobbled his head, not yet answering her, so she motioned around the room with her head.
This is the enlisted mess hall after all?
Val beamed a wide smile.
Oh, well, as for that, Lil, let me clue you in on something about the officer's mess.
Drawing in close, he wrapped a hoof around her shoulder. She suppressed the urge to hurl.
Friday lunch in the officers' club? Good.
He leaned over further, arching his eyebrows.
Friday dinner? Great.
The airfighter got even closer and spoke in a hushed, conspiratorial tone.
Friday after dinner? Fan-bucking-tastic, you dig?
Val let go of her shoulder and stood straight up again.
But as a result of that, Saturday breakfast is just so underattended that the staff don't even put in the effort. Oh, and Saturday lunch isn't much better.
He looked around the room and waved a hoof.
Why, I can see at least 3 dozen officers who were smash-bucking drunk in the officers' club last night and are now grabbing lunch, probably breakfast for them, here in the enlisted chow hall, going incognito so as to not bother any pony.
Stepping around the back in front of her, he nodded his head in the direction of a table full of other Pegasi.
That's why I'm here with the squadron.
Looking her up and down, he grinned once again.
But that's not why I came over to say hello. That pony sure does love to hear the sound of his own voice. So, to what do I owe the pleasure of your visit then, sir?
Val took a deep breath and tilted his head back, licking his teeth.
Well, I was just wondering about your cute little Pegasus friend over there, in the far corner. Oh, Buck, no.
She had to shut this down as soon as possible.
She's not your type, sir.
The lieutenant's face turned pouty.
Oh, come on, Lil. Why don't you carry on calling me Val, or Icepone at least? Let's try to stay friends, huh?
The obvious emphasis was her cue to relax, even her parade rest position. But if he thought that allowing her to call him by his nickname or his call sign was going to ingratiate him to her, then he was dead wrong.
I said, she's not your type, Val.
He licked his lips and turned sideways to be able to look over at Sparkshower. Through the crowds, you could see her sitting there with a contented look on her face, scanning the ponies around her like she was on a recon mission.
No. Soft, cream-colored coat, pretty hay-colored hair, and big, beautiful blue eyes.
Val glanced back at Lily.
I do love the filly next door type.
The thought of that Pegasus taking advantage of her new best friend Sparkshower sent a chill down her spine.
Whatever you want, I'm not doing it.
Val put a hoof up to her lips, causing her to scrunch up and recoil in disgust.
Shh! Don't jump the gun on me, Lily.
She pushed his hoof out of her face, but he went on talking.
I'm not asking you to set up a date, or even introduce me. Nothing like that.
He took a step forward towards her.
All I want you to do is just go bring her that omelet that you've got floating up there before it gets cold, and just point me and the squadron out to her.
Val rolled his head forward and lifted his eyebrows at her.
She's probably heard of us, you know? Just let her put the names to faces. That's all.
Lily could not believe that he was seriously asking that.
So you want me to sell out my squad mate? That's pretty low, even for you, Val.
He put two hooves up and pouted his lips.
Whoa, sell out? Come on, Lil, I'm just asking you to let her know about some of Canterlot's finest air superiority fighters, that's all. She's new here, isn't she?
Lowering his hooves, he raised his eyebrows.
But since you mentioned selling, well, maybe I could make it worth your while.
He grinned.
Like, say, maybe an invitation to one of the aforementioned fantastic Friday nights at the Officers Club?
She was through listening to him.
No thanks, Val. I've got my own ticket.
She set off to leave, only to hear him call out softly after her.
Oh, what? You mean Captain Mailtuff?
Lily whipped around, leveling a stony gaze at Val, who had sat down and was nonchalantly inspecting one of his hooves.
You know, it'd be a real shame if someone talked you down to him. He's very sensitive about his social appearance, you know? What the fuck? This fucking bastard!
She could barely stop herself from loudly shouting back.
You're blackmailing me?
Luckily, over the din of the chow hall, no pony could have heard her, even if she'd yelled. Val shook his head and smirked.
No, not blackmail. Black ball, maybe.
The smirk turned sinister.
Or I guess, blue ball, in your case.
That was it. She'd had enough. Lily turned around and left him there, still grinning at her. Pushing through the crowd, she went straight for Sparkshower. Valiant had her so riled up that she just plowed through the gaps between the tables with a menacing scowl on her face. Somehow, she made it over to where her squad mate had saved the table without knocking any pony over.
Hey, Glamerspear!
The little time it had taken to get over there hadn't dulled Lily's anger yet, but she inhaled deeply, put a smile on her face, and did her best not to take it out on her friend.
Hey, Sparks, order up.
She lowered the two trays out of the air and gently placed them on the table before taking her seat. Even with Val's words still ringing in her ears, the scent of a nice hot plate of the Chow Hall's finest did much to soothe her anxieties.
He wouldn't really trash-talk me to Captain Mailtuff, would he? Oh boy, it sure is busy in here, isn't it?
Across from Lily, Sparks was already digging in, still glancing around at all the new faces. Lily grimaced.
Yeah.
If he did start trying to wreck her chances with one Salt Lick captain, who's to say that he wouldn't start blabbering about her to every pony? Would he really do that? He definitely had the capacity for it, but she doubted that he would bother keeping it up for long. Icepone was strictly interested in short-term advantage.
Do you think the crowd has anything to do with Daycourt?
While Lily had been ruminating over her past and future, Sparkshower had managed to figure out the present. It took the unicorn a second to comprehend Sparkshower's words, but once she did, Lily nodded her head and grinned.
Oh, of course. I forgot that Daycourt runs on Saturdays from now until the Grand Galloping Gala.
Turning around, she took in the crowd.
Oh yeah, they must need another 200 guards on duty just to manage the lineup. Oh, and sometimes it can go all the way outside, you know.
Just then, she caught a glimpse of Val at his table with his little entourage of Pegasi airfighters. As if sensing her attention, Val looked in her direction, grinned, and nodded his head. Suddenly, it felt a bit warmer in the room. It must have been the press of all those extra ponies. Returning to her plate, Lily immersed herself in her lunch once more. For some reason, I just want to see a colonel who's decorated with a whole bunch of medals and badges to intimidate the living fuck out of those assholes. Because if I see that, my smile would be so wide. Anywho, let's get on to our happy and humble donators. Top donators Dash of Evergreen, Peter Coltard, J Tinman, Darkside, and Ponyman. Courier Crucii, Strix, Zar630, Narwhals, TacoCat598, Raiden, Dospo, Delta Omega, RuneScythe9852, Hunter Norman, Austin Rowland, Lightning Blitz, Rhiny Dragonwolf, Secret Moon, Tal Rasha, The Toilet Snake, Sword Brethren Mordred, Ronin Wandering, Endrai63, Random Person Man Guy, Easy, Jack Hedge, Sky Uchiha, Leslie Prickett, Starlight Glimmer, Squiddy Boy, David E. Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Joe Piercy, Alex F, Rainbow Dash, Teal K. Anderson, TV Killer, John Becker, Leon Reynolds, Raven Speedster, Zach Rakau, Mr. ECU, Edgar Garcia, One Kingdom 1, Nissa Rusan, Vazuri, Dyslexic Character Sheets, Just a Random Boy, Audric Plincart, and a Crazy Person. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and live life to the fullest.